Put me in, coach. Today, the question is, what Western Conference team is going to the NBA Finals? Is it the Jazz? Is it the Suns? Is it the Clippers? Before we get into that, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell like an open jump shot. Most importantly, share this video because we're talking basketball here. Now, let's get right into this. So we got three teams left in the West. We got the Suns, the Jazz, and the Clippers. Which team am I picking to go to the NBA Finals? Well, for me, this was, once I wrote the teams down and actually just looked at it, for me, this is a no-brainer. It's the Phoenix Suns. Why? Because I believe they're the most hungry. And because we've been overlooking the Phoenix Suns this entire year. Now, I've had a few times where I've talked about the Phoenix Suns, but I never seriously talked about the Phoenix Suns, even though I knew Chris Paul made a huge impact. In fact, I did say he should have been in the MVP race because he took that team, right? They were already kind of good, which was literally right outside the playoffs, right? And he got them the number 2 seed. They even were number 1 for a small point in time in this season, right? They were number 1, but I'm sure that clearly they're not anymore because they lost a few games and therefore they're the number 2 team in the West. But guess what? They have the most team chemistry. They know their roles. And everybody is sticking to what they need to do because they're realizing what works. Chris Paul is doing his thing, okay? Devin Booker, he's out there. Look, he's destroying whoever is trying to guard him. And they can't just double team him like they used to because all he has to do is give it back to Chris Paul. And Chris Paul is going to dissect them even more than Devin Booker will do because Devin Booker is looking to score. So you got your passer / your floor general, meaning the guy who's going to make sure that the floor is spaced so that Chris Paul can get it to Aiden if he needs to. But he knows that the number 1 option is Devin Booker. Why is this important? This is important because you need to know who to get the ball to. And then if you can't get the ball to them, then you pass it to the open guy. And guess what? Jay Crowder, he's hitting threes. Miles Bridges, he's getting to the rim. He's scoring. These guys are scoring very easily. And they're showing up on the defensive end, right? Devin Booker doesn't have to play against the other team's best player because that's Miles Bridges or Jay Crowder. And then Devin Booker. So Devin Booker kind of gets to rest a little bit on defense, and then he turns it all the way up on offense. Now, I really thought that it was going to be the Jazz, but after seeing Spider Mitchell he has to keep worrying about that ankle, man. And I don't want to see that in the NBA Finals. I want to see a fun, amazing Finals where it's just full of highlights. Like, that's personally what I want to see. Now, when it comes to the Clippers are just very inconsistent. And that actually is really on Paul George, right? Because Kawhi Leonard, the number 1 option, Paul George, the number 2 option, and Reggie Jackson, right, completes their 3-headed monster. Look, Paul George, right? Paul George, the second option. He's really inconsistent. He's going to have to score 30 to 40 points. That 20 to 25 point stuff, it's not going to get it. It's not going to get it because that means he still took a whole bunch of shots. He just wasn't scoring. He just wasn't making them. So, again, Kawhi Leonard, he smashed that panic button, right, when they were playing against the Mavericks. And I said they was going to win Game 6 and Game 7. I was right. Then I said Paul George is going to have to step up. He did. But the question is, will he continue to step up for the remainder of the playoffs? Well, if I'm wrong, I would be happy to be wrong because I'm still in LA. Even though my Lakers got knocked out, I would still be rooting for the Clippers just because it's an LA thing. Now, with that being said, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this one. And we'll see you on the next one, right? The next one is going to be who's going to make it to the finals from the Eastern Conference. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.